So what I would like to do today is just run through a couple of key information that I have about the data collection, but also hear back from you, because some of you have been testing the different forms, the 3 forms, and maybe you have some questions about the administration of the forms. So what I'd like to do, if I just go to the next slide, is I hope it works. Yeah, so there are maybe a couple of things I'd like to talk about. To start off with requirements and deadlines. By requirements, I mean what do we need to know before we can start that data collection, and the deadlines is when do we have to have completed the data collection. And then the next point will be about the GPS check and locking the tablet from enumerators. Some of us are working with external enumerators, and what do we need to do to check whether they are collecting the data from the right spot, but also disabling the tablet from them editing maybe things that they're not supposed to touch. For some of you, it might be interesting to know how to install the Kobo Collect on the tablet, but also some people might find it useful if you're not moving out, but you're having people come to you to use Kobo from your laptop. And then finally, I'll go into details about the questions on the 3 tools, the parents tools, the children's tools, and the key informant tool. I am recording this session, so if at some point you feel you know enough or you have some other matters to attend to, please feel free to leave the call. And you can always come back to the recording if you need some information, because some of the information may not be relevant to you because you already know how to do it. So I will make I'll make this recording available online, but also I will make it available for other people who were not able to participate in this call. And what is important to know, next week Wednesday I will be repeating this online session, so if between now and next week certain issues arise, you can join the call next week. Before I go into the requirements and deadlines, do you have any questions that maybe you don't think will be covered by one of these? I think there are 7 points that I put here. I just want to give you opportunity to ask questions, whether I will cover that in this session. It could also
from
be
my side.
Yes.
Yeah, from my side, I think it's fine with the points.
Okay. Maybe as I go through the points, some questions may come up. Feel free to interrupt. Okay, I will move on to the next slide, which is talking about requirements and deadlines. So before we go into technical details of how to install the tool and things like this, I just want to remind you of the requirements, the number of children, youth, and adults that we want to collect data from, and where we want to collect this data from, and then the deadline when we would like all the questionnaires to be administered. So basically, the deadline that was put in our terms of reference was the 24th of September to collect, to send all the raw data to the lead team. I have maybe one exception, which is the Lebanon team, because they actually joined us later, and so I said, well, maybe they can have up to the end of this month to collect all the raw data. Do you have any questions or any concerns about this deadline?
Ayman, can it be for the last week of September instead of 24th?
Yes, I think
by the end of September.
Yes, is this who is talking? I'm sorry, I cannot
Heba.
Recognize your face. Okay, Heba. So I think since we will have to wait for Lebanon anyway, I think it's okay. to say for everybody we wait till the end of September, but I think it is important that you already start data collection before, otherwise we cannot meet this deadline.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
So from Gaza, I'm aware that the situation is also difficult because of the COVID restrictions, but we are hopeful that that at some point it will open up and that we will still be able to start collecting data.
Yeah, we hope so too.
Yeah, but I think it will affect the mentioned deadline.
Yes. So what is important to know is that we are collecting data from 6 countries. So besides the Middle East, we are having Colombia, DRC Congo, and South Sudan, and we are also trying to launch a report in January. Before the there is always in Switzerland there's this World Economic Forum where all the important let's say donors, but also companies with a lot of money, we want to draw their attention to the impact of COVID on children. So we are aiming for this, and if we really want to meet that deadline, that means that the report should be completed by December, and the data analysis should be done in October and November. So really, if the data from Gaza wants to be added to this, we really have to see whether we can meet this deadline, and otherwise. And I had a discussion with this with Maha, is that maybe if Gaza cannot meet this deadline, then we will have to have a separate report from Palestine for advocacy purpose locally and internationally, but then the data cannot be used for this important purpose. So this is just the situation, and unfortunately I cannot change that.
I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question, Ayman.
Yes, go ahead.
In Jordan, it's becoming like we are having now many cases, and it's increasing in the COVID-19 cases. And yesterday they discovered 2 cases at one of the Syrian camps. So it's not the camp that we're going to, but we know that the government will have more restrictions to enter and to get out of the camp.
Yes.
And we don't know about the other governorates. Like every day we have new restriction, and every day they have new decisions. I was just wondering if it's possible to have like half of the interviews online and half of them offline, or is it possible to have all of them online or not?
No, so it is not going to be possible to have online interviews with children or with the parents. The main reason is for the child safeguarding. For the safeguarding, we would like to be able to recognize if a child is feeling uncomfortable. So if a child is feeling uncomfortable, the enumerator will have to be able to stop the interview. And we want a procedure that is same for all countries. So in this case, we have said that we will have face-to-face interviews. Unfortunately, this is out of my hands. This is because of child safeguarding. I cannot change this either.
All right.
So it's good to know that there are challenges for Jordan. So if at all you are not able to collect the data, you have to just let me know, and we'll have a discussion with Laura what the next steps have to be.
Yeah, I think until now it's possible, but we don't know about the new decisions.
Okay, it will be
especially inside the camps.
Yeah, it will be great maybe to start as soon as possible.
Yeah.
The situation might change anytime. I see Asman is saying that, but without this, let's just try to move ahead as fast as possible. That's the only thing that we can do maybe at this point.
Yes.
Hello, everyone.
Hello,
This is Linda from OBT.
Linda, welcome.
I think we will have the same problem as Jordan because the situation here is not stable yet, and we're not allowed to do any face-to-face activities with everyone or with anyone. The schools didn't fully reopen, so I think we will have challenges in implementing the data collection face-to-face within the next couple of weeks.
Yes, so we need to know that. I just mentioned this before you joined, is that this is the situation, we cannot change it. We had made an agreement that we will do face-to-face for safeguarding purposes, not because it's not possible, but our safeguarding experts said that I'm not allowed to conduct this research if the enumerators cannot recognize when a child is feeling uncomfortable, so that he or she can intervene.
Okay, thank you.
So we really hope that the situation will change. And like I mentioned, if Gaza does open up later than the deadline for this research, then maybe we will have to develop a separate policy and advocacy document for OPT. But the data will be too late to add to the data of the other countries. This is the main issue.
Okay. Thank you.
So I would like to just remind, although everybody probably is already aware, if you're reading the TOR, that we are looking for, in total, 126 respondents from the countries. We're looking for 80 questionnaires to be completed by 40 adolescents from 12 to 16 years and 40 youth from 17 to 24 years. And 50% or half of them have to be male and half of them have to be female. Then we're looking for 40 parents or adult caregivers. Again, half of them, 20 are women, half of them, 20 are men. And then finally, so the 80 plus 40 together makes 120. Then we will have in-depth interviews with key informants, which are 6. So it could be a psychosocial worker, it could be a child protection officer, it could be children or aid workers or teachers or parents or people who really have a very good understanding of the situation of the children. So we will call these key informants. And then the last bullet point is that 50% of the respondents are from what we call a host community, and 50% are refugee or IDP. And when we say refugee, this is important for the context of Palestine. We are actually looking for refugees from the recent conflict, for example, Iraq or Syria. And not so much Palestinian that have been in host communities for, I don't know, for much longer time. Are there any questions so far? So once again, this session is being recorded. If at some point you have to attend to other matters because you know what we're talking about, you can always come back and view the video offline. I'm also recording this because there are people who are not able to attend this session right now, and maybe they can view it offline. But just be aware that it's been recorded, so that also the questions that you are asking are also heard by other people. I don't think this is a problem, but it's good that you are aware. Let me try to move to the next slide. Yes.
Iman, if excuse me, I see a question from Roba. If because of related to the question, if we can do online questioning with the questionnaires with the children, but she was asking, could it be also the opposite also with the key informants?
So with the key informants, thank you for pointing this out, because I was not able to see the chat. The key informants need to be in the country. This is the main requirement. So if you're, for example, in Lebanon, we want you to have a key informant who is based in the country. So we don't want somebody in the Netherlands or the United States to talk about the situation in Lebanon and for your own country. I would prefer this to happen face to face, but if it's not possible because the situation is becoming very difficult for people to travel, and since the key informant interviews do not have the same danger as the child protection issues for children, I could say, okay, you can go ahead to have the key informant interviews online. But really try to have it face to face, because this is what we are telling all the other countries. And for the data to be comparable in all situations, we're trying to have the data collection in all countries done in the same way. So I'm moving to the next question or issue, which is about the GPS check and locking the tablet data from enumerators. What I would like to happen is that we have for each country one focal person, and this focal person, I will give access to the server with the data, with all the data. So from the server, he or she can check the quality of the data that is coming in from their country. In particular for the African countries, we've had sometimes experience when we are hiring external enumerators to collect data, they not be moving around. So the focal persons for the African countries in particular will need to go into the database to check the quality of the data that is coming inside. Otherwise, it will be a shame when we collect 120 information and we find out that the data is not reliable. So this is talking about the GPS check. And we did some checks beforehand to see whether or not the mobile phone or the tablet, the data is coming inside. And this was the case. So I don't know if you have any questions about the GPS aspects. Please ask me if you have that right now. So moving on to locking the data tablet from enumerators. If you are having an external enumerator, it will be possible to only make the tablet accessible for filling in the data. And for this, the person needs to go into the admin settings of the tablet. I have given instructions how to do this in the installation video. But I would like to know from the people on the call now, Haidar, Asma, Ruba, Heba, or Linda, whether you would need to be able to use this facility. Can you let me know?
Maybe from my side, I can say that actually I didn't install it, but I went through the document how to install and to manage the facilities of the application. I see it clear actually on how to access things.
Okay.
But honestly, I didn't install it.
Okay. Anybody else have a question about this? Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, in Jordan, it's installed, and yesterday we had a discussion with the data collectors, and we tested the tools as well.
Yes, okay, it's good to know. If you want to be able to lock the data, because so that the enumerators do not have access to all the facilities, I have a link to, oh, I'm going back one slide, to an installation video. I will share this slide with you, this PowerPoint with you after this exercise, so you can always go back and check the video. But what if it works here? This is the tutorial. We will not watch it now because you can watch it in your own time. So if I go towards the end of this tutorial, maybe after 5 minutes, let's hope it works. So here it tells us the steps. So I'll pause the video here because it just gives you a few steps on how you put in an admin password. And then, so if you go to the video at 6 minutes and 49 seconds and look at this session, and it will explain to you how you can block certain settings from the enumerators if you want to. If you have any difficulties with this, you can also send me an email and we can have a separate Skype session to go through this. But for now, maybe I'll just run the video for 1 minute, so those that that are not taking part, at least they know what is going to happen, and then we'll continue with the next session. So let's just watch this for 1 minute.
I think the video is not shared. The screen is not shared for the video.
Oh, okay. So then it's no point in, or either I try to. Can you see it now?
No.
No. Okay. Maybe it's because.
Yeah, in Zoom you need to stop sharing and then share the video window.
Okay, let me try and do that. If I can do that quickly, and otherwise we'll just continue the session. So I'll go to.
Iman, is there a voice next to the video instruction, or it's without sound?
Do you hear this or not?
For this, the one that you are sharing now.
Yes, I edited a little bit because some questions were wrong.
Ah, okay.
But can you hear it?
No, we cannot hear anything. Maybe you didn't share the voice option.
I did not share the voice option, so this is a problem.
Yeah, but it's nice to know the link, so anytime we can refer to the link.
I think that's the best thing. So what I will do, I will go back to the presentation that I have now, and we'll continue the session. And then people who want to go back to the link, I will share the PowerPoint after this session, and then you can go through the PowerPoint. So now I've started sharing my screen again. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so we've discussed the GPS check and unlocking the tablet from the enumerators, and then you can go into the manual to or the video, so that you can actually lock it if you want to lock certain that data or certain forms from the enumerators. the next, what I've done to assist installing Kobo Collect on a tablet. This is the link to the video that we just saw, but we also have a link to a handbook. If you don't want to watch the video, the same information is provided in the handbook in the Google Drive, so you can go here. And what also is important for you to know is that the username and the password I sent to the main focal points of the country office. So if you don't have a username or a password, let me know, then I can resend this information. Some of you have already used Kobo in the past, and that means that you already have a username. You can also share that username with me, then I can add you to the server, and then you can also access Kobo that way. So, yes, go ahead.
Sorry for that. Sorry to interrupt you, but just one question.
Yes.
Because I already participated in similar activity before with OCHA. And during the assessment, they distribute the tablet, which have this I think have this kind of options where they can manage and to know the movement of the enumerators and giving specific facilities, controlling the options. So this is limited if they are distributed the tablet for this situation. What if they are, so there is an option that the enumerators will download the application directly to their mobiles, or it's supposed to be limited to something that's controlled by specific
no, it's also if the enumerators download the Kobo Collect to their mobile, they have the same options, so we can also track the GPS. There's no problem
only
with that.
The focal point, he can download or she can download this application, and because they have the username and the access, they can control and then give it back to so it has to be installed in the spot.
Yes, so to be able to access our questionnaires, they need to have the username and password. Otherwise, when they download Kobo Collect, they will not be able to access our forms. So this can be done if the enumerator comes to the office.
Yeah.
You can install it for them using the username and the password, and then they're ready to go. It has all the functions.
Yeah, exactly. So my point is that in a meeting, it will be installed for them, then they can move forward.
Yes, that's a good idea. So we will do that. We will use that procedure. For those that are using either their mobile phone or their own tablet, then we can install it for them, the Kobo Collect, and with the username and the password that I already provided, and then they can go ahead.
Thank you.
It has all the options.
Thanks.
So once again, if you have any challenges or difficulties in installing Kobo Collect on a tablet, just let me know. Or next week, Wednesday, we have another session at the same time, and then you can join and ask any questions you may have.
I think we may face some challenges or questions may arise later on when we start downloading the Kobo on the numerators mobiles or tablets. So for now, everything's clear, but the things or the challenges will come up when we start the implementation, right?
Yeah, so what I suggest is that that you already try downloading it now to your mobile phone.
I did,
and test
I tested it. I
yeah,
did.
and if there are any technical problems with installing it on the enumerators, I would like you to try and solve that problem with your local IT person first.
Yes.
And
yes.
Only for more content issues about the questions, etc., then you can come back to me.
I don't think I will have any problem because, as I told you before, I have an experience working with Kobo before. Mm-hmm. And I downloaded on 2 different mobile phones, and I tested when we have the testing meeting at the beginning of September. And I tried it also when I was offline, and nothing technical appears. So I'm willing to support if anyone needs any support or something. I am here and I can give any information that I have.
So this is Aruba?
No, this is Linda.
Linda, sorry, I didn't recognize your voice. So,
it's okay, we look like.
And also the same, anybody needs any support or any help, I'm ready as well.
Thank you for that. So please make sure you have the email address of Linda and Ruba, and they can also support. Maybe it is even better before, if it's a bigger problem, then just collect all the questions, and then maybe by next week you can come back to me if there are really major issues. So I can imagine that some people might want to administer the questionnaire from their laptop, and this is also possible. And the data will still come inside. It only on the screen, on the laptop screen, it looks a little bit different than from the tablet. And here I have a link, and again, I will share this document with you. I have a link to the manual on how to use the URLs for Kobo Collect, and for each language, because I'm expecting that that all the countries may want to also, some people may want to use the option, or if you are just a coordinator but you're not collecting data but you want to see what the questionnaires are looking like, you can use this option as well. And for each language, English or Spanish or Arabic or French, we have the URLs here, and from any laptop you can click on the URL and you access the questionnaire. Then okay, so far
Iman, you will be sharing that with us?
yes, so I'm sharing this
Okay.
this PowerPoint presentation, so you can access all the links. And if you have any problem with any of the links, or if it's an old link, because it can happen, there have been some changes, then just let me know, and I will make I'll make the correction on the server. Also, if you see mistakes or things like that that I have not seen, you can inform me and I can make the change. The only important thing is that if I am updating one of the forms, you'll have to reinstall it again on the tablet. So for example, if in the children's tool I have made a change on the server side, you will have to change all the enumerators, tablet or mobile phone, you'll have to make this correction. So I prefer between now and next week, if any corrections have to be made, we make it then, and then we install it for once, so we don't have to make any corrections later. Otherwise, it would be a lot of work. So once again, now I'm going to go in a little bit more detail. I'm going to walk through each of the tools one by one. I will start with the parents tool and explain the questions. If you feel that I'm going into too much detail, feel free to leave the meeting, and you can always come back and view. I'm making a recording of this session. You can always come back and view the session that you're interested with online. So don't feel embarrassed if you have to leave the meeting, or if it's very boring for you. Feel free to leave, and you can always send me an email, or I will share the recording and you can come back and look for details, because I'm going to go in a lot of detail now for the 3 questions. But before that, if anybody may think that they want to leave very soon, you can ask me any questions now. And if there are no questions, then I'll go into the details of the tools. Okay, so I will try and start with walking through the parents tool first. And I have to stop sharing my screen, I guess. And then oh, I cannot. So for whatever reason, it's not working. I will try to open the tool here. Can you see my screen? No, I guess not.
Not yet.
No, no.
Let me try and exit this screen. It's not allowing me to close. So I have to share the screen of the specific. So on my screen, I see the parent and caregiver tool. Can you see it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yes, we can.
Okay, so what we're starting off with is the interviewer code. Now for the interviewer code, what I would like to suggest is just to use the first name of the interviewer and any random number like 1, 2, 3, or 4. There's no special restrictions for this, but it will be for later on to check if there's anything wrong with the data. We will know which enumerator filled in this form. The next question is about did the parent or caregiver provide consent for themselves to be interviewed? For those of you that participated in the child safeguarding training, you know that we are using a method, an online method of getting informed consent, which means that we have to have a third party also take part to be sure. So if the parent and the caregiver provided consent for themselves to be interviewed, you can answer yes here and move on to the next question. This is the question about the third party. If there was a third party involved, you can say yes here. So basically, this is our informed consent procedure, making sure that there's a third party or witness taking the consent form. Do you understand so far?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So then we have to write the parent's name. I'm just writing any name here. And then what is their relationship to you? So it could be that this, and this, we're talking about the person who is the third party person. So maybe they are a volunteer. You write the answer to the name here. Where are you, which region? So for example, this could be Middle East and Jordan. And then you, yes, go ahead.
The previous one, the relationship to the numerator.
Yes, no, it is the relationship to the person, to the parent. So not the relationship to the enumerator, but the relationship to the parent. So here is this in independent person present for the consent? Yes. And then here, what is the name of this person?
His name is Hassan.
Yes. And here, what is the relationship? So Hassan is like a community volunteer or a teacher, or it could be a community person who is very respectable. This is the relationship.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
It could be imam or a chief or whatever.
Anything, yeah.
Yeah. Then here is the of course, it's very clear. You choose which region you are, and here you choose the country. And in some countries we have different field location offices. I don't know if it's the case for Jordan. I'm sorry about that, but it could be. I'm just putting random Amman here, and.
Yeah. I just have one question here.
Yes.
If we are in Zaatari, so we have a center, our center in Zaatari, in the camp.
Yes.
But if we are at any other governorate, so we need to write Amman, whereas our office, the base office.
Okay, so here we write, let's say the base office. And here, even though it's in a separate protectorate or separate district or a separate, here you write a different one. So it could be outside. Although you are based maybe in Amman, the village or the town or the camp you're working with could be in a different area. That's fine. You write that one here. Then what is the age of the respondent, since this is a parent's tool? Although sometimes a parent can be under 18, we have a selection here. We are assuming that we're working with parents who are older than 18. The gender could be anyone. What is the highest level of education by this person? It could be primary education. In some cases, there is none. This person did not go to school, but then you still put the least one, primary. The married status, never married, currently married, separated but married, divorced or widowed. So it could be that somebody is married, but the husband or the wife is far away. Then you fill in this option.
Yeah, and I remember maybe Linda talked about this question. Like if we meet a woman or a man who are married for a very long time, so it's not currently married is not the good option.
Yeah, I was going to say the same, but I think we agreed in that meeting that we're going to choose that they are currently married.
Yes, because currently in this case, it means at this moment. You could be married for 50 years, but at this moment you're still married, so we say we are currently married.
They will be very happy if I told them that.
Yeah, they're very young. They're just 18 and they're currently married. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Then the next question is about the status. So we had discussed this a little bit. I think the important one is when we talk about refugee, we're talking about a refugee to the recent conflict. So even though maybe somebody has a Palestinian background, but maybe in the country already for, I don't know, 30 years. No, we're talking about the refugee from, in the case of the Middle East, from Syria or from Iraq. Then the type of residence. Sometimes this one is a difficult one. I won't go through all of them, but squatting. This means that it's a legal stay in a fixed building. So sometimes people are just staying in a government building or a school building that they are not the owners and they don't have permission to stay there. This is what we call squatting.
But I don't think they will be like that honest to tell us that they are illegal staying in this building, Yani.
That applies to all the questions. To be honest, we don't know whether they are honest to us. What we are registering here is what they tell us. If they're telling us a lie, that's their business.
So it depends on what they are going to tell us, yeah.
Yeah, we're not checking their fact. They should have confidence in us that okay, whatever they tell us, this is what we're going to register.
I'm just having a thought that we will not having this answer.
It's true. Even somebody might be ashamed to tell you, oh, I'm homeless. They will say, oh, I'm living in a rented apartment. It could be. but we are not going to fact check. We are just going to write the answer that they give us.
Yeah, we're just collecting data.
Yeah, yeah.
Emon, can I ask a question,
Yes,
please?
of course, please.
In regards to the refugee status, you mentioned it actually several times about that the status of refugee is belonging to the recent conflict at
Yes.
Syria,
Yes.
which is not the case for OPT. We don't have refugee from Syria conflict or Iraq conflict.
Yes.
But in Gaza, for example, if it's for the IDPs from the recent conflict in Gaza in 2014,
Yes.
we don't have them specifically IDPs in shelters, but they are still considered IDPs for people still renting houses because their basic houses has been destroyed. I don't know if it's applicable or not. This is one issue, but if it's to be only refugee related to the conflict in Syria or Iraq, I don't know what's the option here.
Yes, so in your case, you will not have a refugee. You will
Yeah.
either have an IDP or somebody who is from the host community.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for clearing this.
So I see Ahmed is asking a question. Am I correct? I'm not sure if I'm seeing it correct. If not, it's not a problem. And please assist me if I'm missing somebody, but somebody else sees a question. Just ask the question. Then talking about the parent and the caregiver tool, the next question is: do you have children in your care under 18? Yes or no? If so, how many boys are under 18? One. How many girls are under 18? Maybe 4. Do you,
Ayman,
yes, yes.
what if they have one girl and they don't have any boys?
Ah, we cannot put 0 here. This is
Yeah.
your, it's a mistake in the questionnaire. I think in this case, I will take a note of this. So this is question about if so, how many girls or boys? I have to check. I have to change because here's the same thing. Maybe you have 0 boys. So I will add the option 0 in both cases. That's why this session is very good. Thank you for that. And I have to change all 9 questionnaires with this one. I will do that. Can you believe, because we also have it in Spanish and in English and in French.
Yeah, if you need support in editing this in Arabic, in the Arabic version, I'll be more than happy.
Is this, I cannot hear you, is this Ruba or Linda?
Yes, Ruba.
Ruba. Okay, Ruba, it will be very helpful if you can do that for me. Have I already given you the access to the server? Because I have changed, when you sent me the first one, I have changed the questionnaire you sent me to one that I own. I'm the owner of this one, so you will only be able to access it if I give you my password and my username.
Okay, maybe I can give you my username so you can share it with me on Kobo.
I already have your username, I think.
Yes.
But I'm not sure if you can then make the change. We will try.
Yeah, yeah. When you make the sharing options, you can check.
I can indicate
edit
that
or
you
not.
have. Oh, okay, okay. So
Yeah.
I will make sure then you have the editing option that you can edit the form. Okay. The next question is: do you believe that there's COVID-19 in the community? Some people may say no. Are the governments in the community adhering to guidance, or are people in the community adhering to guidance from the government? So are they doing what the government is saying to keep a distance or to stay in the camps or whatever? Here we have a question about has COVID-19 and the related restrictive measures affected your family life, access to services and work, and general well-being or stress levels? So yes, In this case, you answer how, but if you say no, then it skips and goes on to the next question. Here, have you noticed many changes in the relationship with your children? Yes, you have to explain how, and with no, it goes on to the next question. Have you noticed a change in behavior of other parents, guardians towards their children? The same thing, maybe I don't know, and then it goes to the next question. For children infected with COVID, what health support is available? It could be a hospital, community health post. Sometimes you have to travel to the city. There are no services available, or something else. You can select one or more. If you have selected the other option, then the next question, you'll have to explain how. If you have not selected the other, then it skips to the next question here. Is health support accessible? Yes, no, I don't know, maybe no. And then here, please indicate how your child feels at the moment. Unhappy, worried, then you put unhappy, worried, afraid. It's 1. Or happy, cheerful, very relaxed, you put a 5. Or sometimes it can be in the middle, depending on what the parent is feeling, that the child feels. So it's important that it's the parent's impression how the child is feeling. Then the next question is, please provide one example of something that makes your child feel unhappy, worried, or afraid. So you can put maybe they're criminals or something, I don't know, that makes the child feel happy, unhappy. Or maybe I can't go to school. It makes me unhappy. The next question is, please rank the most important reason that you think, I've lost the question. Please rank the most important reason that you think affects the feelings of your child. So why is the child unhappy? You have a selection between 4 things. It's because of COVID-19. It's because of the conflict or the war. It's because of domestic abuse. Maybe they won't select this one, I don't know. Maybe because of gang violence, or maybe because of poverty. We gave these 5 options. So the most important one, please rank the most important that you think is affecting, because of COVID, they can't go to school. That's the most important one. But then the second one, maybe we are poor, we don't have any money, and this is why the second option. And then the third option could be, maybe there's a lot of violence or gang violence or criminality in the area. So the most important one is because of COVID, the child can't go to school. Second one is the family is poor. And the third one, there's a lot of gang or criminal violence. The next question is, what kind of support do you think is needed to overcome this? So you can answer the question, for example, by saying that the child needs to go back to school again. For example, or whatever the answer is. Have any of the following things become less available since the start of COVID-19? It could be services, health centers, schools, playgrounds, food, or water. These are just things that we felt might be answered. So you can just select one of these things. Maybe schools in this case, and no, less schools and less playgrounds for the children to play. With respect to the last question, is there anything missing from the list? So we have here a list of 6 things. Maybe there is something else. If there is, you answer yes, and then you get an opportunity to explain. If no, it goes to the next question. Then we're still thinking about the need of the child. Is the need quite common, and has it happened before COVID-19. And the need, we're talking about what the child needs. So it could be healthcare, it could be school. And what we need to know here, is this something new before COVID happened? Or was it quite common that it was still happening before COVID? So this is important. With this question, we're trying to find out if this is something that is really happening because of COVID. So we can answer yes here. And then this question is about how do children spend their day in the community? They play, I don't know. Could be anything. They play or work. And again, we want to know, has this changed? Well, before COVID, they were going to school. So yes, it's changed. If yes, what is the main reason for the change? No school. And now this question is for the interviewer only. We've come to almost the end of this questionnaire. And maybe the enumerator has a feeling about why the parent is giving these answers about the children. It could be that there's a lot of stress because of living in a camp. So you can just write down here, there is a lot of stress because of living in a camp. This question is really a reflection from the interviewer, because sometimes they have some information that people sitting in the main office, or obviously me in Amsterdam, will never be able to know, but the enumerator might have that information. And then the final question is to record the GPS function. I'm not sure if it's working in this setting, but normally you will press on this button. Sorry?
Yeah, exactly.
I think this button, and
yes.
then place where you are. So they need some kind of understanding of how to use a map. I think, I'm not sure. Are you able to zoom in or out? Maybe through this button?
Yeah.
And then place the button on the right spot. And then it has the coordinates. And I think you can submit here.
Yeah, and the good thing that when we use the tablets or mobile phones, we don't need to set our location on the map.
It goes automatic.
Yes.
Okay, so after submitting, it automatically goes here to the next questionnaire. But this was the parent and caregiver tool. Like I said, I'm recording this. So if you have any other business that you want to go to, please feel free to leave. But we can also, and then you can come and view the recording later. Because we're going in a lot of detail for the questionnaires. But if you want to continue, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move to the key informant interview. Are there any questions so far?
I have one, please.
Yes.
In the part of the enumerator's comments, after he put all the feedback of the parents, they can, in this part specifically, they can elaborate the situation of the family, like from the economic side, as you mentioned, maybe in the camp, whatever. It's like it's open for them to write whatever information they can provide about the situation, or there is a limit for that?
They can write whatever they want. So I was being very short, but it could also be more about the situation in the camp, or maybe like you just mentioned, the government has put the number of cases of COVID is increasing, so the situation is now very restrictive. People cannot leave or enter the camp, anything.
Yeah, specific also because if we are asking about the situation of the children, any problems because I don't see something related if they have lots of disabilities, is constraints or other things that it's disable them from access to the service or receiving it.
This is a very important point that you made, because the questionnaire is not asking about disabilities, but maybe as an interviewer you can see, oh, but this child has a disability and the parents have told you that this is a problem for them, then you can enter that here.
Yeah, so they can put whatever they observe about the situation of the
Yes,
family.
it's very important, because the enumerator, especially if they're very involved in this project, they will know that we need to know this information, otherwise we may interpret the questionnaire incorrectly.
Exactly, because you mentioned that it's going to be like the results is going to support exposing the situation in a platforms.
Exactly, exactly. So they need to know. So this is very important.
Okay, thank you for that.
Well, thank you for making this clarification, because I think it's also important for the other countries who are viewing this, who have not been able to join us now, to know this. So I will move ahead. Many of the, maybe a little bit faster this time, because many of the questions are the same. I'm going to the key informant. I call this new 20 August because I had made so many changes that I was forgetting which form was which form, but this is the most recent one. And so again, the interviewer, we can put the first name of the person here plus a number. It could be any number, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least we can recognize who the enumerator here is. This is about the informed consent again. We have discussed this. The third person, the third party, the witness, that is confirming that, yes, this has taken place. Here we're writing down, here we do not need more information about the independent person, because we're talking about an adult in the key informant. So the region is important. The location, as we said, it could be different from, it could be the country office, the field office location, as I put here. And here, this could be a different location than the field office location. It could be in a camp or somewhere else. This is the name of the expert. And what is the expertise? Is he or she a teacher or a child protection officer or a psychosocial support person? Is this person working for WHO or for UNHCR or what? We can put it here. And then, yeah, we're repeating now a lot of the questions, but what is the biggest risk for children? In your opinion, has COVID affected the children in the community? How many children spend a day in the community, or how do they spend a day? They're playing, they're working, or whatever. Is this different pre and during COVID? So were children working a lot or doing child labor also before COVID, or actually because of COVID, we're now seeing a change? That is why we are asking this question. So it's really an important question for us to know whether COVID is changing the way the children are spending their day. The next question is about, are there any cases of COVID-19 around? Yes, no, I don't know. Do you think children are well protected in the community? Yes, no, I don't know. If yes, do you think the children, this question, have recovered, and those for their families affected by COVID currently live in a protective environment? So this is talking about a child who has recovered from COVID. I'm not sure this question should be in. I'll make a check for this. Explain to us how COVID-19 and those associated restrictions put in place by the government affect the functioning of the school system in your community. So this could be, yeah, what has the government done? What are the restrictive measures? And has it affected the school system? Here we're talking about, the next question is about, are there people among community actors who have specific training and skills to provide psychosocial support for children? So are there any people with experience to provide psychological first aid or any other kind of support to children. And you can specify here. Since the pandemic, have you heard of any cases of physical abuse? So here we're thinking maybe there is more physical abuse. And remember, we're asking the key informants here. We're not asking the parents. So in this case, we want to know if the physical abuse is increasing. Yes or no? Do you think the incidence of violence has increased? And here we're talking about if there's violence, is there a difference between the kinds of violence experienced by boys or girls? Yes, no, I don't know. The next question is about what more can be done to help children and the stress caused by daily hassles. So what more can be done to help children relieve the stress caused by daily hassles at this time of your lives? So we're trying to find out if NGOs or if the WHO or if the government or anybody who is assisting can do more to relieve the stress. In your capacity, do you know of any interventions being done here right now to help children who are mentally perturbed as a result of COVID-19? So I don't know what is the case in maybe the Middle East or in Africa or in South America, but here in the Netherlands, we are hearing a lot that children are feeling stressed. Now it's last for us 5 months. They're not sometimes allowed to play with their friends and things like that. So yes, no, I don't know. If yes, you have to give an example. If no, I don't know, you don't have to give an example. Does the government social protection systems exist? So is there a caseworker, or is there a child protection committee or welfare committee, or maybe a school or church or mosque or whatever? Are there social protection systems that exist? Yes, no, I don't know. If yes, no. Well, it should be if yes, right? Yeah, if yes, you can explain why. If no, or I don't know, we jump to the next question. The next question is, do you have any notes, comments, or reflections? So we are to the end of this key informant, and the same thing like the last time. Maybe during the interview, the enumerator has noticed something that is really important. That information can be added here. And then again, we do the GPS check.
Sorry, Ayman, again, I have a
yeah, no, good.
comment.
The questions are very good.
In the other questionnaire for the parents, when do you have any notice, there was like in a gray, a clarification that this is to reflect enumerator's comment. Here, it's not like it could be confused for the enumerators. Do they have to reflect their opinion about the after, or to put some kind of their enumerator as enumerator opinion, or this is a part of the questionnaire to the interviewer?
That's a good point. It's supposed to have shown here that this is the enumerator themselves.
Yeah, but maybe either we clarify it for the enumerators or to be added as it has been in the previous.
Yeah, it should be added like this.
Yep.
I will have to make this addition.
Hello, I have a question, Iman.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, this for the key informant. Before we start these questions or the questionnaire, can we have like a consent, like the parents or caregiver, or for the children? Because we didn't read anything yesterday. We told Rudiona, and she said maybe she would check with you. I don't know.
For the key informants, whether we have an
Yes.
informed consent.
Consent, yes, because I don't know.
Well, in this case, what we're going to ask is, did the key informant provide consent? So if you're meeting a child protection officer of another organization, Save the Children, you would ask them, do you give me consent?
Verbally.
Yes, verbally.
And so I don't need anything written.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
The reason why is because we have an independent person, a third party, who is witnessing this consent taking.
Okay.
So this could be a volunteer or a teacher or another colleague of this person.
Okay.
If you're talking to somebody for Save the Children, maybe you're going there and then you will ask another person to confirm that this person is giving their consent for this form.
Okay. Thank you.
Excuse me to jump in.
Yes.
I think I'm with Nadia and her question, but because yesterday when we have the briefing for the consent form, she was right. Like we have a form for the parents, a form for the children.
Yes.
But so we have to read them the information and to before start the questions. So we are going to use the same template, for example, as for the caregivers to as an introductory with the key informants, and then to have verbally approval from them.
That would be very helpful. This is
Yeah.
a good addition. I did not mention that, but I think it will not be possible to literally use the same one as the parents, because this is talking about consent for their children.
Exactly.
But if you leave out the question about the children, but say, okay, do you provide consent for yourself?
Exactly.
Then it should be possible.
But in general, to follow what has been mentioned in the consent form.
Yes.
That about a briefing about the survey and the purpose and the usage and for what thing we are going to use that, and then to have the consent from them.
Yes. For them, it's also very important that they know what we're using this data for. It's going to be, even though we're asking for the name of the expert, when we are publishing, we're not publishing a name.
Yep, sure.
But I feel if I go and visit a colleague at Save the Children, I know their name. So all I have to guarantee is that I'm interviewing now, but I'm not using your name when we are reporting.
Yeah, this is what we usually inform the participants, that everything is going to be anonymous, but and only for the purpose of gathering the information. Then the results is going to be in general without mentioning names.
Yes. Okay. Once again, I'm recording this, so those that have not been able to participate in this session can review it later. I will share the comments. Also, if you are discussing with the enumerators, it might be useful for them to view this this video. I'm going to the last questionnaire, which is the children's tool, maybe the most important tool in that sense, because we're having 80 children. Again, we start off with the code, the first name of the interviewer and the number. It could be any random number, but at least we know the name. Did the child provide consent? Yes or no? Did the parent provide consent? Yes or no? And did an independent person confirm? Yes or no? So these three have to be yes. And then,
can I have a question?
Yes.
We are not allowed. Yeah, why we are asking if they have the consent? Because as I understand, if we don't have the consent from the children or the parents, we can't go on with the data gathering. Yeah.
Yes. So this is just to confirm that the enumerator has done this.
Oh, okay.
We don't want, for example, if somebody goes into the community and, oh, I was supposed to interview Hassan, but Hassan is not here, but oh, we are now going to interview Ruba.
Okay.
We need to know.
Yes, okay.
And then we need to be able to confirm. So when we're talking about what is their name, this is the name of the independent person who has given the confirm. So at least we can go back to that person. So did an independent person, also called third party, witness the consent taking? Yes. What is their name? We write the name here. And then we have to indicate what is the relationship of this person to the child. It could be their teacher, it could be a community volunteer, it could be a staff from another NGO, I don't know. Whoever can be a witness. And then we, of course, this is the same as the other one, which region, which country, and then the location, so where, which camp, oh, sorry, which country office. By location, we mean country office. I mean, it could be Amman or whatever. And then here in the town or camp, this could be somewhere completely different. Although you're operating from the office, the place where the child is or lives could be different. The age, I think maybe 13 years is possible. Male, female. Of course, we are including other because of gender sensitivity. Nowadays, it's not only male and female. What is your status in this location? We've discussed this. Okay, could be an IDP. Residence, it could be a tented settlement, for example. Or if other, this is a mistake, I see, because it should only, yeah, it's a mistake here. This should be other. I have to take note of this, just one moment. Only when you mention other should it give the option, but now it's not giving the option, it's giving the option by tented settlement. I'll make that correction. The next question is, please indicate how you feel. Unhappy is 1, happy, cheerful, or relaxed is 5. Please provide an example of something that make you feel unhappy. We spoke about that. It could be that a child is not going to school or anything else. We also discussed this one about what is the main reason. It could be because of COVID-19, the first one. The second choice could be because of poverty. And the last one could be because of, I don't know, gang violence. This is what we had said in the last example. But it could be also be that the main reason is gang violence. For other countries, this could be the case. Or it could be poverty. I mean, you know, not everybody is affected by COVID. It could be poverty, domestic abuse, and gang violence. This is possible. What is the most important reason for the emotion of the child and why? So when we're talking about this, we're talking about the emotion is something that makes them feel unhappy. So then we go here. We gave the example, not going to school, but it could be anything else. Provide something that made you feel happy. So this is the opposite. It could be that something that you do makes you feel happy. For example, I play with my friends. This is something that that makes me feel happy. If you need it, is there anybody you trust that you can go to for support? Or I always go to my sister or whatever. So I put yes, and then yes, I talk to my sister. Could be. What kind of support helps you the most? I sing a song. It could be, but it could be something else. I learn at school. So anything, any kind of support that help the children. Have any of the following things become less available since the start of COVID-19? And again, the same thing here. We can mention more. And with respect to the last question, maybe these 6 things are not enough. You can mention something that is not mentioned in here, because here we're mentioning services and activities, health centers, schools, playing ground, food, water. Maybe there's something else that that I want. Money. I don't know. You don't know what people will say. Money is less available. Is this actually quite common? Has it happened before COVID? Yeah, I was always poor. I never had money. So yes. If yes, so that means it's quite common. It happened before COVID. What caused it? Well, I'm an IDP. So you can also explain a little bit more if the child says more here. What is the biggest risk for children in your community? So the child has to think about other risks, and they can say, and this could be a very sensitive question, and this is why we need the PFA because of this, and if the child feels uncomfortable, we can always stop the interview. But the biggest risk can be violence, or it can be traffic. I don't know, if you're living in a city. I don't know. It could be whatever the child says here. And now, what are the biggest risks now? So we're talking about before COVID. So what are the biggest risks before COVID? I forgot to mention that. That was before COVID. And then what are the biggest risks now? It's the same. Nothing has changed. Or the biggest risk now is I don't know, violence. It could be that there's more child labor because now I'm sent to work. We will hear from them. This question is to be answered by the interview only. Do you have notes or comments or reflection? Because of the questions that we heard before, the interviewer might know, well, actually, I think the child is disabled. And because of that, the child doesn't have access to, I don't know, A, B, and C. So this could be, we discussed this before. And then finally, we can add here the location and submit. So are there any questions about this tool so far?
All good, I think, for me.
Yes, so I would like you to test it. If you have any, in the meantime, today and tomorrow, I'll try to make the corrections for the mistakes in all the languages. And Ruba, you said you will help me with the Arabic. And
Yes.
in the meantime, if there are any other issues, just let us know. And then hopefully by next week, Wednesday, I'm having the same session again. If you feel that you want to join, you can join. If not, you can send me an email, or if you're having problems, for example, installing or stuff like that, we can make a separate appointment for this. So for now, I'd like to thank you for joining this session. It was quite a lot of information. Yeah, let it settle down, but it's very useful because your information that you've given me now, I can also use to improve the sessions for other people. Are there any final questions before we go?
Thanks, Simon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Iman.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Iman.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you.
Bye.